This news program is proudly brought to you by Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits and Now Biscuits.
Treasurer Ian Stuckey highlights 4 key areas of the 2023 budget. Telecom Limited signs MOU with Southern Highlands Province for mobile expansion. And 401 million kina budgeted for police. Good evening, you're watching National EMTV News. I'm Grace Papiali. Thank you for joining us. The Badili Club PNG, in partnership with PricewaterhouseCoopers, hosted the 2023 National Budget Breakfast today. Treasurer Ian Stuckey was the guest speaker at the event, touching on 4 key areas, including the 590 million kina in cost of living relief provided for in the biggest ever 24.5 billion kina 2023 budget, which was handed down yesterday in Parliament.
Gathering at the Hilton Hotel today, the PNG Badili Club, along with the PricewaterhouseCoopers and members of various business organisations, gathered as early as 7 a.m. to hear guest speaker and Treasurer Ian Stuckey speak about the 2023 budget that was handed down in Parliament yesterday. The Treasurer highlighted 4 key areas with a quick brief on the budget.
The 3 things I wanted to share with us today was to have a quick brief on our budget for next year, and I note our accounting firms have summarised that, as always, very eloquently, and I think most of you would have sort of gone through it at this point in time. So I'll just talk a little bit about revenues, and whilst I do that, I'm hoping our team at the back might be able to get things working. I'll touch a little bit on debt, and something that would be of interest to you, our capital budget. And I know that there won't be much interest, business interest, on public service salaries, goods and services, so I'll just miss those out.
Mr. Stuckey spoke about the budget in bringing relief to Papua New Guineans.
We have tax revenue, non-tax revenue, and grants. So on tax revenue measures, and most of these should be of interest to business, as 2 items from our household relief package. We have our PIT, personal income tax threshold. We're raising that to 20,000 kina next year, up from 17,500 in our supplementary budget, and up from 12,500 when we started in May this year. This is going to take out about 280 million kina from our revenue envelope. And what this means is that it saves everyone who's on 20,000 kina per annum, or 769 kina per fortnight, about 63 kina per fortnight. And this will benefit at least or about 170,000 taxpayers. Excise relief on fuel, we're exempting that for a further 6 months, taking away 150 million kina from our revenue.
According to the Treasurer, the budget is tailored towards lifting the country and is more people-focused. Rocky Iso, National EMTV News.
Telecom Limited has signed a Memorandum of Understanding for the Mobile Expansion Partnership with the Southern Highlands Provincial Government today at Telecom Romana Head Office in Port Moresby. Present for the occasion was Telecom Limited CEO Amos Tepi and other telecom managers. Representing the Southern Highlands Provincial Government was Provincial Administrator Jerry David. Telecom Limited CEO Amos Tepi was proud to announce today the MOU between the Southern Highlands Provincial Government and Telecom Limited. This Memorandum of Understanding is part of the communications plan for the province. Mr. Tepi described this as a unique agreement.
Southern Provincial Government want to make sure go far front on the arrangement with the MOU. And the rollout and all these things, we will be at the back to really support them in terms of getting that communication services in the provinces.
Provincial Administrator Jerry David expressed on the importance of communication in the province. He said that telecom's network coverage services to the rural parts of the province will be beneficial to his people.
For discussing some development aspects of the province, how best we can contribute. And we see that through providing a wider network coverage and sourcing more information through this coverage is a good tool to improve our people's livelihood. But with more information, they can make informed decisions. Correct, they live a life, so that they don't based on hearsays and all that. So,
in response, CEO Tepi made this statement.
It's a big investment, and it's an impact project, I would say, and it's also changed the mindset of people to see, because today is a technology world, and the way the provincial government taking this approach is the best way forward. Like what you said, other infrastructure developments can be also whatever, but with that, you need a communication to ride on that. And communication should help pave a way for all the other things that will happen in the province.
Meanwhile, Telecom Limited CEO Amos Tepi, upon signing the agreement partnership with the Southern Highlands provincial government, officially announced that Telecom will establish its regional office in Mendi Town, Southern Highlands province.
MOU we're signing, we're officially announcing that Mendi used to have without an office. Telecom will have an official office, and after we sign in this, Telecom will have an official office in Mendi as well. So that will be one of our regional offices. It will be the regional office, and we will have a staff based on the province, and then we'll start looking after all of that.
During Parliament sitting yesterday, Treasurer Ian Ling-Stuckey said the government has targeted 5 key priority areas, one of which is law and order. Treasurer Ling-Stuckey pointed out that ongoing funding will be committed to the police to continue with its operations and for further recruitment.
The law and order issues will be a key priority area for the Marape Rosso government. A total budget allocation of 401 million kina will be for the police to curb law and order issues in the country. According to the Treasurer, this will be a huge increase of 28.9%.
On law and order, Mr. Speaker, this government has targeted 5 key priority areas. The first priority is law and order. This budget delivers an extra 401 million kina into our law and order sector. This is the largest increase in funding in our history. This is an increase of 28.9%. I was delighted, actually, to see police paid advertisements in weekend newspapers for a further 500 recruits and 60 extra officer positions recently. We have committed ongoing funding to the police to continue this level of recruitment.
The Treasurer gave his assurance that police manpower will increase from 5,000 this year to 7,000 by 2026. Recently, the police hierarchy has made a major reshuffle within the organization with a major recruitment drive underway. Lindy Suharupa, National MTV News.
National MTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to National MTV News. In order to address the illegal movement of foreign currency or other valuable items to address the issue of money laundering and financing terrorists, PNG Customs and the Bank of Papua New Guinea have taken a step forward by developing standard operating procedures for travelers. Today, the two agencies launched a cross-border movement currency form at the Jacksons International Airport in Port Moresby.
Commissioner to Border Security and Regional Operations Benjamin Sine highlighted that as an agency responsible to protecting the borders and the implementing agency, they have been given recommendations by the Financial Action Task Force, which they have to work towards achieving them. Sine emphasized that PNG Customs has progressed well into achieving certain recommendations outlined for them.
Silver or any precious items that will be taken out of this country, you have to comply with all laws and requirements that governs the movement of these precious items. So I believe our teams from Bank of PNG also have other requirements that you have to comply with, and we'll have to make it known to the traveling public that these are laws that are in place.
Mr. Sine said PNG will continue to maintain working relations internationally and domestically to protect PNG from money laundering and terrorist financing, as well as providing a safer economy for the country. He urged collaborations from various stakeholders to implement new laws and policies. Wilson One, Acting Director of Financial Analysis Supervision Unit, or FASU, at the launch highlighted that it has been embedded in the National Strategic Plan Action 29 that BPNG and Customs must have a declaration system in place.
Currencies over 20,000 valuables in and out of Papua New Guinea. So the technical team has been working behind the scenes to implement or develop those forms to ensure that Papua New Guinea does comply with international standards as well, or best practices when it comes to protecting and securing our borders and, of course, our future.
He classified the event as timely, especially when the country is facing shortage in foreign currencies where people will be desperate to look at means of moving money and valuables.
Fight against money laundering and terrorist financing is not only for the government agencies, it's all of us, our responsibility to protect each other and our future. When you see anything suspicious or you know of anything suspicious, you must report it from the public to Customs or to FASU or to law enforcement, and we will take it from there to try and flush out what those illegal activities are.
Mr. Hone has urged every citizen to work collaboratively in contributing to fight against money laundering and terrorist financing. Sharon Engnui, National EMTV News.
The civil society organization had its third forum today at the Hilton Hotel in Port Moresby, organized by the Consultative Implementation Monitoring Council in partnership with UN Women through the Spotlight Initiative to commemorate the International Women Human Rights Defenders Day. The forum aims to take further the 2021 Civil Society Organizations Dialogue for a call to action to amplify the protection of human rights defenders, women and girls, and ensuring justice and quality services to survivors from any forms of gender-based violence.
The forum was held to advocate for the protection of individuals through strengthening institutions, legislative reforms, and stronger push to establish the Human Rights Commission and pass the Human Rights Defenders Protection Bill into law by November 2023. The Acting First Assistant Secretary Community Learning, Community Environment and Informal Economy, David Nungi, thanked CIMC, UN Women and other organizations on behalf of the Department of Community Development, Youth and Religion for addressing the immediate issues like vulnerable, marginalized and those who are suffering a lot. He stressed that there is a challenge to focus on youth and to educate them on human rights and gender-based violence.
We have completed, one, the reviewed National Informal Economy Policy 2023 to 2032, 10 years span. Two, we've completed the Community Development Bill. And three, we've completed the Social Impact Assessment, totally for the department. Now these are three important pieces of document that coming next year.
Ambassador Jack Fredin, head of delegation from the European Union, said they are ready to support the civil society organization to fight against gender-based violence in PNG. He said they will announce the next proposal for the civil society organization and pledged 30 million kina for the association for February next year.
So as a continuation of spotlighting from the EU side, I want also to use this opportunity to announce that we are currently programming a new action against gender-based violence with a strong civil society engagement.
The UN Women Country Representative Temba Kalua stressed that gender-based violence in PNG is twice than other countries, therefore we have to put more effort in ending gender-based violence. He requested the government of PNG to increase funding to human rights organizations to assist in ending all forms of violence in the country.
So number one, we need to increase funding to women's rights organizations. The UN Secretary General, on the launch of this year's International Day for the Elimination of Violence last Friday, called on governments to increase funding to women's rights organizations by 50% by 2026.
Esther Gane, National EMTV News.
The official launching of the Partnership for Improving Education took place today at Papa Junior High School in Central Province. It is a partnership that will run from 2022 to 2030 between the Department of Education and the Australian government, which is aimed at improving the quality of education in the country.
Present to officiate the ceremony was the Australian High Commissioner to PNG, John Philp, Acting Deputy Secretary, Policy and Corporate Services Directorate, Anne-Marie Connor on behalf of the Education Secretary. A total of 4 provinces throughout the country were selected to have this program run for the first time, and they are Central Province, West Sepik, the Autonomous Region of Bougainville and Hanga Province. Mrs. Connor explained the importance of this partnership.
Partnerships for Improving Education is an important program, as already to earlier on already by the MC of the program. And we welcome the opportunity to collaborate with the Australian government to deliver this program and to progress the National Education Plan.
She says with the program being launched in the Central Province, it gives an opportunity for schools in the province to set an example in improving student enrollment, retention and learning outcomes. Connor further elaborated that there will also be a similar program launched in Bougainville, Sundown and Hanga provinces respectively. The Australian High Commissioner to PNG, John Philp, elaborates on the importance of education.
A good education changes a child's future, and that can only start when the child is young, and it never finishes.
He further explains the importance of the PI partnership that they are establishing in partnership with the Education Department in Papua New Guinea.
And the future of Papua New Guinea cannot be ensured if only boys graduate. Papua New Guinea is going to need girls and boys and persons with disability to get the best education they possibly can, to have the best opportunity to continue their lives and become the people they want to be, to take up the professions you want to take up, no matter what they are. So that's what the Partnerships for Improving Education program is all about.
The official launching was done by the Deputy Secretary for Policy and Corporate Services Directorate.
I am honored and my pleasure to now officially launch the PI program in Papua New Guinea. Thank you.
Samantha Solomon, National EMTV News.
The member for Hiri Koyari, Keith Iduhu, said Metago Theological College at Papalea in Central Province is one of the important institutions in his district, and his vision is to develop the college into a university. He said in his term of parliament, a submission of 250,000 kina has been approved to support the institution. He made this statement during the 39th graduation for Metago Theological College.
The member for Hiri Koyari said Metago Theological College has been established in 1982 and not much development has been taking place since then. He said there is a working committee that has been set up and they are working closely to develop a university out of this college. He said in the past 12 months, they have spent about 8 million kina to build new houses for students and lecturers, improve roads and install water supply into the residential areas. He said this was the first phase and the second and third phases are yet to come.
Spending roughly about 8 million kina. Now that 8 million kina has come from support from the central provincial government, who's given 5 million, a million kina per year for the next, since about a year ago. So we'll be getting the trenches of that support. Kumul Petroleum has supported, Laba Holdings, Gas Resources Plant, Limited has also been supporting, contributed towards that initial capital expenditure that you see, the new student accommodation, there's lecturers accommodation also been built, roads have been improved.
The member said Metago Institution is also part of their development plan, which they will launch soon in the education sector.
Recurrent expenditure of the school is such that in the vicinity of close to 200,000 or 300,000 per annum for teachers, the lecturers and the students to be accommodated and to make it functional. This institute is intended to not only provide theology, but also additional secular faculties, agriculture. Vision 2050 of Papua New Guinea's national policy and development really relates to human capital raising is very critical. So,
Esther Gane, National EMTV News.
And now looking at the Nest Fund market report, the kina closed unchanged at $0.2840 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying $0.2765 $0.4105 Australian dollars, $0.2605 euro, 37.93 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading higher, coffee closed higher, cocoa closed lower, copra closed lower, palm oil is closed lower, crude oil is trading higher, copper closed lower. On the stock market, the Dow Jones closed higher, the ASX 200 is trading higher, the All Ordinaries is trading higher. National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to National EMTV News. Governor of East Sepik Province and the chairman of the Parliamentary Committee on the Elections, Alan Bird, has said people have lost trust in all structures of the democratic society, primarily in the way the recent 2022 national general elections was conducted. He said this has resulted in a breakdown, much of how the government system function. Governor Bird, as the chair of the parliamentary committee, said they need to pay more attention to the perspectives of the people moving into the next general elections.
Speaking at TIPNG's election seminar today, Governor Alan Bird says the primary goal of the parliamentary committee will be to bring all stakeholders together and hear out their recommendations before a final report is presented on the floor of Parliament for implementation towards 2027 election.
We plan to begin public consultations in January. We've already started early work, so I just wanted to sort of and put it this way, the report writing is not difficult. Transparency International has reports that go back several elections. NRI has reports going back to, I think, 1964 or something. So we have enough reports and recommendations, and that's the strategy the committee will be taking. The report will be written by NRI with input from, obviously, Transparency International, and basically any interested party. So,
Governor Bird added that an election review is well overdue and welcomes important stakeholders throughout the country, including citizens, to contribute towards this.
This is the first time in 40-some years that Papua New Guinea has put together a committee to take a look at elections. The thing with public policy is that for those who actually sit down and do the course, you're supposed to review public policy every 10 years. And I don't think we've reviewed our electoral processes for over 40 years. So it's we're about due for one, and that's where we are.
After this review, the final report will be presented on the floor of Parliament for parliamentary members to deliberate on before it is implemented in all sectors, including the Electoral Commission, for a free, fair and safe election. Meanwhile, Electoral Commissioner Simon Sinai, who was also a guest speaker this morning, expressed a need for the electoral roll to be updated and perhaps introduce the biometric roll come the 2027 election. He highlighted some issues that were experienced in the recent 2022 election.
In this election, we want no outstandings like 2017-12 went back. We say no outstanding elections. We don't want any liabilities for the government. So,
amongst its findings, TIPNG identified in the recent elections that there were common role issues, bribery, intimidation of voters and security personnel, and other factors faced. The TIPNG election seminar saw diplomats and senior government officials and church representatives present at the event. The seminar will end tomorrow. Lindy Suharupa, National MTV News.
The Minister for State-Owned Enterprises, William Duma, today highlighted on the floor of Parliament a report on state-owned enterprises. He said most of the SOEs, if not all, have contributed to supporting the country economically through financial and employment benefits.
Minister Duma said 9 SOEs have contributed immensely to the development of this country, let alone serve Papua New Guineans in terms of employment. He said the SOEs, through international partnership, have played a significant role in providing financial support to the government.
We continue to develop strategies and associated plans to progress the SOEs to achieve their core objectives of, number one, the delivery of competent, accessible, reliable and affordable services. Number two, the provision of an appropriate return on investment.
Minister Duma said Kumul Consolidated Holdings, or KCH, has really served the interest of the Papua New Guineans through its development strategy. He added that through the SOEs, they have played their core objective, which is to support various sectors and development agendas in the country.
KCH, Mr. Speaker, in partnership with the Department of National Planning, the Department of Treasury, have been identifying projects of national significance that will optimize national content, encourage the onshoring of manufacturing opportunities from abroad, and contribute to the development of a dedicated, skilled workforce.
Governor for West New Britain, Sasindran Mutavel, in support of Minister Duma, said that development partners have also played a major role in supporting the country with its development objectives. He said the Asian Development Bank has played a major role in helping the country financially.
Our development partners like even Asian Development Bank at the time even agreed to support almost $500 million of funding in 3 years. In 3 different payments, which is almost equal to 2 billion kina, just to do the right thing on a concessional loan, especially for our budget support. And Mr. Speaker, I thank the Minister for actually securing those funds. Even I think, if I'm not mistaken, still we have another $250 million to receive from this Asian Development Bank source, and also to invest in much needed aging infrastructure in various SOEs. Of course, the majority of funding is actually meant for our budget support, but I thank the government for supporting the minister by allocating certain portion of this amount to support various SOEs.
Minister Duma said all SOEs and their development partners will continue to work together in ensuring that they contribute meaningfully to nation building. Godwin Eki, National MTV News.
Most of the non-government organizations and charity organizations continue to support the education sector in the country to ensure students are well educated. One of the charity organizations is the Royal Papua Yacht Club in Port Moresby. Today, they donated reading books and a computer set to the Daugo Primary School on Fisherman Island in the National Capital District.
The Royal Papua Yacht Club has been supplying reading books to Dauko Primary School since 2016 after recognizing that the school needed reading books. Today, during the school's Grade 8 graduation, Royal Papua Yacht Club Administration Manager Ella Kasu presented some more books to the school and a computer set to help the students in their learning and reading.
RPYC has been supporting Daugo Elementary School or primary school since 2016 through donation of books to the library. I remember this year we have a surprise for the school and RPYC is donating a computer set, one PC set, which we will present to you later. It's already loaded with software and there's a monitor and a UPS. So we hope that this is going to be used by the students and teachers to help you in your education.
Kasu adds students to be dedicated and put extra effort into learning and value the hard work of their parents. She further adds them not to get involved in bad habits as it will jeopardize their education. The school head teacher, Home Sai, upon receiving the donations, thanked Royal Papua Yacht Club for the timely support.
Thank you, Yacht Club, for a timely gift. And I promise you, communities, I will not steal this tin and take it home. It belongs to the school and I will leave it. When I go, it will be in the school for the next head teacher. I will not follow suit like what other head teachers have done.
12 grade 8 students graduated today at the Dauko Primary School on the Fisherman Island. Thomas Sulembari, National EMTV News.
National EMTV News continues after the break with Trukai Sport. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. PNG Football Association President Mr. John Capinato is appealing to the major sponsors of the Pacific Queens to come back and sponsor them again. Mr. Nato made this appeal following the official return of the Lakatois this week after the Pacific 4 tournament staged in Australia.
Following their recent win after the Oceania FIFA Women's Championships, the national women's soccer squad will now prepare for Phase 2 of their intercontinental playoffs. PNG Football Association President Mr. John Capinato emphasized that sponsorship is paramount as PNG FA has sacrificed some of its major projects to bring this national team to the World Cup on behalf of the nation.
This federation needs to sacrifice some of its projects to put money to take this woman to the World Cup. For what? For on behalf of this nation. And that's my appeal to the government to support this woman.
Mr. Capinato further added that the government and all of the sponsors who have sponsored the squad in the Oceania FIFA Women's Championships should come back again to sponsor this women team.
We had our partners. We had National Gaming Board, the government support us, Telecom, many others. Going to the second stage, I'm appealing to the sponsors. If they can come back and support the women. These women are going to the World Cup. They're going to the intercontinental playoffs. And I desperately need support of the government. I really need the support of all the agencies that have supported us.
Meanwhile, the Lakatois will be spearheaded by their newly appointed head coach, Spencer Pryor, to train in Sydney in preparation for their upcoming international friendly against Philippines, scheduled for the 11th to the 15th of December 2022. Lisa Puni, Trukai Sports.
The Gero Rugby League of Season tournament, which is currently staged in Gero Rugby Oval, is also offering marketing avenue for the nearby communities surrounding the event's venue. This was emphasized by the Gero Rugby League president, Frank Kurum.
The league is now into its fourth year of tournament, and one of the opportunities it has provided apart from the competition itself is marketing opportunities for nearby communities. This was elaborated by GRL President Frank Kurum.
The club been starting 2019. 2019 coming up now. 3+ season go finish na this lab making 2021 to 2022 and 2022 to 2023 and season 4. Then osem all lilik spin-offs lol mamana all meri pigini blo kam salim kolwara cordial nambod na donat blo. Also next year go again lo school time samla let all can prime school fee nambod blo pigini.
Kurum further added that as the main motive of the tournament is to keep Garau youth busy during Christmas period, the league has recently affiliated with PNG RFL. Therefore, the tournament will now see PNG RFL referees involved during this off-season playoffs. This is mainly to bring the standard of GRL up.
Miblago apostate Miblago affiliate lo PNG RFL. So now all PNG RFL all stop on the Miblaso. All oglo salimul, all good lol PRL referee come. At least Mibla bring him, bring him standard block game goal. Next level lilik do se Mibla plan something round 1 come osem all oglo step in help him Mibla. I'm just lo bring him standard block game come at least antap lilik one time. All good referees.
Meanwhile, the tournament registration closed today, the 30th of November 2022. All 32 registered clubs are to submit payment of 250 kina for each of the divisions prior to this date, as the committee will release the master draw no later than Friday this week. Lisa Puni, Trukai Sports.
Trukai Sports continues after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
You're watching Trukai Sports, and to oversee sports now, England and US have booked their places in the knockout phase of the World Cup.
Well, Sam, we're getting really sort of to do and die moments, aren't we? We've just seen the encounter between the USA and Iran. A lot of talk in the build-up. The crowd themselves were fantastic. It was just so loud. I say themselves because it was like one.
It was, absolutely.
They were all together.
Yeah, they were. It was one voice. And look, coming into this match on paper, this was one of the most charged games of this entire tournament. The USA and Iran, of course, politically, they have such a long history together. And the last time these two nations met was a huge upset. Iran beating the USA 2-0. So the USA have come out of this 1-0 winners, and it was actually just a really pleasant game of football. The whole atmosphere around the stadium in the build-up was really lovely. You saw lots of mixing of fans, lots of people from Iran and the USA taking photos together, dancing together. It's almost like the way in which this has been framed was completely different from the...
In cricket, Australia is taking on the West Indies at Perth Stadium today.
Player and Jason Holder in the middle order. So I think the West Indies' strength will be with the ball. The challenge for them will be with the bat when they face the likes of Pat Cummins, the Australian Test captain, Josh Hazlewood, Mitch Starc. These guys can bowl sort of 140 to 150 kilometres. That's a lot quicker than what the West Indies can bowl. So I think, Joe, it's not going to be all that comfortable, unfortunately, for the visitors here in Perth.
And that ends Trukai Sports. The Money Plus weather report for the next 24 hours is next. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by Money Plus. With you always.
Now we take a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. In the southern region, Port Moresby City, partly cloudy with patchy rain. Darul, showers and thunderstorms. Kerema, few showers. Alotau, some showers. Popondetta, cloudy with rain periods. In Momase region, Ley City, few showers with possible thunderstorms. Medang, few showers. Wewak, few showers. Vanimo, few morning showers. In the New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau, few showers and thunderstorms. Kavieng, partly cloudy with brief showers. Kokopo and Rabaul, few showers. Kimbe, few showers and thunderstorms. Buka, few showers. Light. In the Highlands region, Mount Hagen City, cloudy with rain periods, then morning fog. Goroka and Kundiawa, cloudy with rain periods, then morning fog. Mendi and Wabeg, few showers and thunderstorms, then morning fog.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that wraps up the news, sports and weather for Wednesday, the 30th of November 2022. From all of us here, pleasant viewing and bye for now.
This news program was proudly brought to you by Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits and Gold Nuggets.